Dirty and hippie go hand in hand. Modern day hippies are again, those people who are out here trying to tell you that it is unhealthy to shower. You heard me. Unhealthy. Welcome back to Privy. Privy is a podcast about bathrooms, recorded from my home bathroom. I'm your host, Hunter Hoover, and I love bathrooms. Welcome back, guys. Thank you for being here. We've talked a number of times here on the show in the past about the importance of the porta potty. And here on Privy, we've tried to even win a porta potty. We entered no less than 3 times the Honey Bucket porta potty competition last year, and I gotta say, we didn't win. I'd love to know who won. You know, sometimes I'm not saying the people at Honey Bucket did this because I don't think they did, but sometimes I feel like people do these online like giveaways and these online like competitions, and you never really find out if anybody really won it. You know, you always hear, oh, this is how you enter, and you can see all the people that entered. But I feel like I never saw who won. You know what? As I think about this, I'm going to peek here and see if Honey Bucket ever actually posted anybody who won, because I follow them pretty close, and I feel like I would have seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, I don't see any bright, shiny, bushy tail faces with just ear-to-ear grins that they've won a brand new Honey Bucket. Like, I don't see that on here. I see a lot of them delivering Honey Buckets, which is great, but I don't see it. I don't know. Honey Bucket, I would love to find out who has won your competition. It wasn't me. We would have put the Honey Bucket to great use here. It was going to be our little mini recording studio, but we're back in the old steed here, my home bathroom. If you can, yep, see, the toilet paper has been placed on the roll facing the way that my wife prefers, and now it doesn't rip off the thing. So just another nail in that coffin. But we didn't win. But as the weather gets warmer and the outdoor venues begin to fly, we are going to see more and more of not just Honey Buckets, but all porta potties popping up all over the place. Little portable places for people to do their portable business. And we've talked a lot about different aspects of the porta potty history and lore and life. We've actually recorded in a porta potty twice now on the show. Once was a solo mission, and the other we were joined by none other than Josh Wehrman, friend of the show and former guest. And really, sometimes I get to this place with things. I've had people ask me a couple times, like, hey, are you ever worried about running out of stuff to talk about? And sometimes I'm a little bare my sleeve here. Whatever that saying is, I don't know what that saying is. But I'm just going to let you know that, yes, sometimes I do worry that I'm going to run out of bathroom material to talk about. And especially when we get to the world of porta potties, I really feel like that vein has truly been tapped. You know, I've really tapped that vein. And I feel like porta potties is one of those things here on the show that I'm getting ready to be able to lay to rest, at least for now. As long as people keep pooping, I think we're going to keep having stuff to talk about. There are some corners that I think we are nearing the end. And one of these, like I said, is the world of porta potties. There can only be so much new porta potty technology, right? Right? I don't know. This is also one of those that has truly lived in my notes app for some time. I must confess, I've had to really stretch my research muscles to get to the bottom of this one. Because at one point, I was Google translating web pages to get to the heart of the matter for our episode today. It's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in as a podcaster that does his own research. I want to say something. I do my own research. There's podcasts, there's people out here who have someone else doing all the research for them, and then they sit down, probably spritz their breath. I didn't spritz my breath. I've got a fully uncracked polar seltzer. I'm going to rip that bee in just a second. But there's people out there that they probably don't even pay for it. They probably have some intern or some friend that they met in college doing all of their research for their show for them, and then they just sit down and look pretty and start talking. And they cover it as if they are professionals. And at that point, you're listening for personality only. And I'm just glad you're not here for personality. Try it again, id. This information was sifted. I was panning for little tiny nuggets of gold in a river in the backwoods of the internet for this one. This one, there was some sifting that happened. But it's been in my notes app for some time. It's truly lived in my notes app for months, if not year or two. And in my notes app has been the simple prompt, Plaskruis. I don't know if I'm saying it right. We're going to get into it in a minute. That's it. Just the word, Plaskruis. And to the point where I think maybe I've known what this is for some time, and then it went in the notes app, and then I forgot what this was. And then it was just ooh, every time I'd get ready to do an episode, I'd be like, oh, what's that? Skip it. And so here we are. We're here to talk. Let's adjust it. Oh, hey. We're here to talk about the Plaskruis. I ventured forth, and I'm going to tell you the story of this device. In the southeastern corner of the Netherlands, there's a region called the Achterhoek. I don't know. That's just how I'm going to say it. This region is often called the rear corner because it's a part of the Netherlands that sticks out like a nub into Germany. Inside this Achterhoek region is a town called Lochem. Lochem is a small town of about 33,000 people today, just a little smaller than the town I live here in Albany, Oregon. Willamette Valley, Pacific Northwest, United States, North America, the world. But of course, we are not talking about Lochem today. That would be too simple. We need to talk about Lochem in the 1960s. Lochem in the 1960s, there lived a young man by the name of Joost Carlier. Going for it. Joost Carlier in Lochem, Denmark. He was 18 years old, and he was looking for something different, and he devised a plan with his brothers to throw an event, a music event. He and his brothers came up with the Lochem Festival. The music festival, first held in 1968, was a 3-day music festival that drew about 5,000 people in the area. Now, Lochem today has about 33,000 people, but I'm going to go ahead and wager a bet that Lochem 60 years ago probably had about half that population, maybe a little more. And so what you have here is essentially the population of Lochem, pert near taking on an extra half or third of its population in a weekend. It's wild. But it drew an extra 5,000 people to the area. And we hear this today and we go, yeah, that's fine. Have you heard of the Vegas sphere or whatever they call that thing? It can hold a metric flip jillion people. So the Lockham Festival's not that crazy, but it was, because this is 1968. It's likely that this is at the outset. They were on to something. This is before the big music festivals of today. This is the outset of a lot of the modern rock and pop festivals. Coachella, Firefest, pretty much any fest, and they got it. Corgi Fest. Pork, beans, and rice fest. Like, I'm sure they have all of them. I wonder if they have a Polar Seltzer Fest. You know what? I've talked about it enough already. We might as well just... For all the ASMR people that are joining us in the bathroom. Whew. Yeah, it's not orange vanilla, but that nectarine lemon is not bad. But Joost Carlier and his brothers threw this Lockham Festival, 3-day music festival, drew 5,000 people, and Joost brought this to the city of Lockham. And to give you some perspective, this was before Woodstock. It predates a lot of the like dirty hippies sleeping in the mud festivals. But this set Joost Carlier onto a lifelong trajectory and change. He became a well-known event planner and event architect in the Netherlands. Nowadays, if you want to put on a big event like this, you can just rent like just about everything that you need to make it happen. Joost Carlier shared in an article to AV and Entertainment magazine about how they quite literally had to invent the wheel when they came to throwing large outdoor events. One account noted how he and his brothers made this like tall rickety control booth out of like old wood, so that way the techs had something to sit in during the acts. They had nothing, because big outdoor festivals, like, were, if they had already happened, they were not very common. And so there wasn't like an industry where you have this stuff and you can go and readily find it. They had nothing, but they pushed on organizing concerts in Goffert Park in Lockham, Denmark. Netherlands? I don't know. I think Denmark and the Netherlands are the same. I say with a medium amount of confidence as a public high school teacher, that sentence could not have been more fitting. But they start holding and organizing these concerts in Goffert Park, and they eventually start setting up in the Lowlands Festival, which replaced the Lockham Festival. They partnered with music industries, began to get more and more people at their events. In the mid to late 80s, Carlier came up with a plan for a large outdoor camping festival with multiple components to it. His normal, like if Joost was Joost, show me that Joost. But if Joost was going to set out to hold a festival of this nature, he would have selected Goffert Park. But the Goffert Park and the area around it only had room for about 30,000 people. What he was planning was much, much bigger than that. This, coupled with the ongoing trend of what I would like to call rampant hippieism at these type outdoor wallow in the mud festivals, it was going to be a rough look. Like, you get that many naked people who are smoking dope together, there's going to be some wild nakedness going on. Carlier says in his interview that many of the festivals that popped up were very hippie in nature. And I'm going to key you in on something. This is a hunter's here to key in on it. Are you ready? Hippie is a code word for dirty. So when you say, oh, he's kind of a hippie, you're kind of, they're kind of dirty. They smell weird. mostly because they probably don't believe in showers or some nonsense. Dirty and hippie go hand in hand. Modern day hippies are again, those people who are out here trying to tell you that it is unhealthy to shower. You heard me. Unhealthy to shower. That's a notion that is put forth by, again, dirty hippies. You know what's unhealthy? Let me tell you what's unhealthy. I'm going to tell you what's unhealthy real quick. Having disgusting body stink. That's what's unhealthy. Like, if your armpits stink, scrub them down, brother. You know what's unhealthy? That your brain has rationalized that it's fine to make everybody else smell your nasty onion armpit. Like, cut it out. Get yourself, onions are an improvement. It's so dumb. Another nice code word for hippie nowadays is natural. Oh, he's all natural. Well, all natural smells like butt. So, like, sort yourself out. Like, they don't have toilet paper in nature. So the next time somebody's like, well, I am all natural, then we don't wipe your butt? You don't shower? Because here in the real world, we do those things. Yes, at one point in human history, we didn't. And now we do. And we ought to be thankful for it. Armpits stink. So does your breath. So, like, brush your teeth or something. I don't know. But Joost was trying to clean up this hippie scene. As Woodstock and other venues became famous for the nefarious deeds done dirt cheap in the bushes, he said, you know what would be awesome? If a person went to a music festival for the music and not to see people holding hands in the mud. Clean it up a bit. Joost was onto something here. He's like, I want to clean up this scene. But in the early days, he had to figure out all the little ways and all the little things to help make it cleaner. Like now, you can just go to event rental things. I'm sure Honey Bucket, they're not a sponsor. Honey Bucket, if you want to be, you could sponsor us. I would take a free Honey Bucket. I would shout that crap out every single episode. If I was recording from a Honey Bucket, you know I would say it every episode. Challenge issued, Honey Bucket. But they didn't have a place to like go rent all this stuff. And so like to help make it clean, you couldn't just grab it like you do now. And so in the same interview, he shared the process for inventing all this stuff. It kind of came out like he literally had to do it. To not do it would be allowing to everybody to just progress in their own hippie natural stink, if you know what I'm saying. One such invention, designed for the Monsters of Rock Festival in 1991, featuring AC/DC, Metallica, Motley Crue, Greensryche, and the Black Crowes. You get it. Pretty big names, except for a couple of those. Sorry, guys, never heard of you. And this stop at the Monsters of Rock Festival 1991 that came to the Lochem, Netherlands region of the Netherlands, was a multi-continental, multi-month-long, multinational tour that landed itself in the little town of Lochem, Netherlands, because Joost Carlier had made a name for himself. And he made a name for Lochem. For this event, Joost Carlier put his innovation and inventor skills to the test and came up with an invention he called the cross units, or as they have been known for some time, the piss cross, or in Dutch, and as it has lived in my notes app for the last year or two, the Plaskruis. The Plaskruis, again, came about as an attempt to clean up the grounds of the festival for the Monsters of Rock. One of the problems with standard porta potties is when they fill up too fast, people, likely men, who simply have to pee when they are outdoors and, truth be told, on substances, are going wild. And sometimes when you're in that place and the line for the porta potty is 9 dudes deep, it's easier to just let it fly. Hit the good old outdoors. Pee into au naturel, you know what I'm saying? And that's great. Except when you have a few 100,000 people drunk and high and outside and toying with the idea of being naked anyway, peeing where people are trying to sit and be drunk and fornicate in the bushes where there is also peeing happening, you can't just have people peeing wherever. And you could see how they'd be like, a thing you didn't want. Like, you don't, when you go to a music festival, you don't want to have to navigate people's urine. And even though they had porta potties, there were people who were actively not using them because the lines were too long. And so Joost said, we got to give people a way to pee in public, but that is more sanitary and helps them pee in a desired contained location and situation. You have to lock the pee down. You have to lock the urination down. Really rein it in. You can't have pee flowing all over where people are trying to rock and roll, baby. You can't. And so Joost came up with the device called the Plaskruis, the P cross. Plas being the P of the situation, and Kruis meaning crew cross. Do you see it now? It is exactly what you think. It is an X-shaped, a cross-shaped portable urinal porta potty for public urination. It doesn't have doors because you walk up and you use it and you walk away. It can serve 4 men in the space a porta potty would previously have serviced 1. That's good. That's good for keeping bathroom times at a minimum and encouraging people to use these quicker options. Joost Carlier came up with this just for this venue for the Monsters of Rock Festival at Goffert Park. But it turns out the crews who worked the festival and the musicians and the people were abuzz about these P crosses. In that interview, Joost says that they had to start making more and more of the Plaskruises because they were an international demand. It became a thing. But here's what I'm here to tell you. I hear Hunter, a host of Privy. We've talked a lot about bathrooms. I would argue I have been around the bathroom block. And the troubling thing is I have never seen one of these other than the internet search. Check out Privy socials. We'll put it out there. You'll see them. I've never seen a P cross in person, a Plaskruis in person. I long to use one. I want to stand atop and pee in all 4. No, just kidding. Don't do that, kids. Don't do that. I think this would be an amazing addition to every state fair, every rodeo, every outdoor venue where you're going to have more than like a couple thousand people frequenting these outdoor urinal stations. And here's the deal. We talked about this a little bit on the women's thing, but like they have women's versions of this kind of already. I think this would be an amazing addition. In addition to porta potties, I'm not saying get rid of those because you know that there's somebody going to be trying to poop in the Plaskruis stand to poop. Like, don't do that. Don't poo in the stand to poop. Oh, this doesn't need to be a full Hunter's anecdotes, but it just came to me. So this last week, my children are in baseball, t-ball and coach pitch, and there was a porta potty on the grounds, and the porta potty had one of those situations where it's got the porta potty classic with like, this is the same porta potty that got absolutely decimated by the strawberry smoothie vomit a couple weeks back, if you remember. But it's got the traditional porta potty situation, but then just to the right of it, it's got the porta potty urinal where like you can pee and then you get to like it like marble runs pee down into the tank itself. Well, somebody had thrown gum into the urinal thing and it had rinsed and it had like clogged the thing that lets the urinal or the wet pass into the wet plus solid. And so you could tell, like I went in, I didn't use it because it's like there's no way to not almost accidentally spill somebody's full bladder of pee all over you. But somebody had peed into it after this gum had like clogged the pipe, and there's just like a standing dog bowl amounts of urine just sitting there. And it's like if you sit to crap on this porta potty, your head's gonna be right next to the pee. Like, we can't be doing this. Every public park should have one of these stand to pee urinals. It's just a great idea. Could have used one that day at the baseball fields. And I'm just saying this is either a plus or minus depending on who you are. But you and 3 of your friends could join hands in a kumbaya of urine around the Plaskruis and hold hands in a 4-way pee circle. All while still being in your own little Plaskruis cubicle. It's friendship, it's brotherhood, perfectly embodied. It's almost like, you know, we should get the porta potty, like reach around, hold hands through the porta potty. Oh, that could be good. It's truly a neat thing. The Plaskruis, we need more of them in our lives. I long to use one. I long to see one. And this week on Privy, we celebrate the ingenuity of Joost Carlier for coming up with the idea. I long to experience it in its own capacity one day. Plaskruis. This brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. If you are enjoying us via video on YouTube, leave a comment. I don't know what you want me to. I don't know what you want to say. We got this little sign back here for the video. Oh, what? There's mystery weird on the back of the sign. I don't know what that is. What the flip? I don't know. Okay, we're going to put that over there and pretend like that never happened. Sorry, everyone. But we got 5 stars. Wood poop here again. Just the little things. So, like, if you're enjoying the video, let us know. If you're not, that's fine. Thanks for listening. Please leave us a rating and review. The 5-star options are preferred. You can do that. The easiest are in Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts. Leave us the rating in there. For every rating you leave, we will donate $1 to the Wounded Warriors Project and Living Water International. And if you leave a written review, say hi, talk about the cheesy jokes that I made. In Apple, we'll bump that up to a couple bucks for those. Those help get the word out about the show. Share the show this week, but also it's our way of thanking you for leaving a review. We give a little bit of money to Wounded Warriors and Living Water, reminding you to keep pooping in the free world, and that free world was not always free, and that we're working toward cleaner water for all. Follow us on social media. We're at Privycast. You can follow me. I'm at Owlet7. Email us, privycast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Episode suggestions, comments, concerns, feedback. Do you have a weird smell? I dare to say this, but if you would like to submit your own Randy Bowl, follow at Randy Bowls. You can email us your Randy Bowl shots at privycast@gmail.com. If you want to be submitted for Toilet Tuesday, you can submit your Toilet Tuesday bathroom pics to privycast@gmail.com. We would love to share those. If you have a story to share, let us know. We want to hear from you. And don't be afraid to reach out on that. We want to talk to you. This brings us to the end of another episode of Privy. Thanks to Kevin and Podington for the use of their music this week. Thanks, Kevin and Podington. And now I'm going to say it one last time. This brings us to another episode of Privy. Keep pooping in the free world. Own your stank. Breathe more. Push less. And now, as always, don't forget to flush.